Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I'm Catherine from the NeoCyber Institute, and today we're going to talk about another dangerous type of malware, ransomware. In this video, we'll go over what ransomware is and how to prevent it on your system, followed by what to do if you're attacked by it. Lastly, we'll take a look at the evolution of ransomware over time and the trends we'll likely see in the future. Ransomware is a type of malware that is characterized by virtually kidnapping a computer or network. It works by denying the user access to their system or files until a ransom is paid, usually in Bitcoin. There are many different strains of ransomware, associated with varying levels of concern. It usually gets onto your computer as a result of a phishing attack or a drive-by download. Payment demands can range from a few $100s for the average person to millions of dollars for a city or company. The most basic type of ransomware is scareware, which works pretty much exactly the way it sounds. Scareware operators try to frighten the target into paying a ransom. Sometimes, the operator won't even actually encrypt your files, just try to scare you into paying right then and there. There are a few common scareware tactics. One is to pose as an IT company and claim that your computer has been infected with malware. They'll say that to fix the problem, you have to pay them a certain amount of money. Another tactic hackers use is to force a pop-up on your page. A lot of scams are similar to this. Everyone's seen a pop-up saying that you've won a gift card or an iPhone and have to act fast to claim it. Scareware pop-ups work similarly, except that they're meant to scare rather than excite. Usually, they are accompanied with a warning that you have multiple viruses on your computer and must act fast. Then they ask you to pay. Not all scareware can also be called ransomware. Because the main marker of scareware is the fear tactic, the label applies to other types of malware that don't include payment. Ransomware scareware will always include a payment aspect. Another type of ransomware is called a screen locker. It locks your screen, unsurprisingly. The screen that hackers show usually falls into one of two categories: false legal or police warnings, or full-on ransom demand. The first type, a legal warning, is similar to a scareware pop-up, only you can't exit the page. It doesn't disclose the fact that you've been hacked. Instead, the page looks like an FBI or police warning, saying that you visited illegal websites and need to pay a fine to unlock your system. This tactic can be very compelling to people because no one wants to be in trouble with the law, and it can seem legitimate. Remember though, if you were really participating in illegal activity, the FBI wouldn't freeze your computer until you paid a fine. They'd arrest you. The other type of screen locker is a blatant ransom demand. These hackers will tell you outright that they hacked you and that they will only give you the decryptor to your files if you pay them money. Almost always, they demand that the target pays in the form of a cryptocurrency and will give a few days leeway to gather the money together. Sometimes, they will increase the ransom after a few days, or threaten to, in order to convince the victim to pay earlier. A newer strain of ransomware is called Doxware. What the hackers do is come in and encrypt your files, but make unencrypted copies for themselves. Then, they'll threaten to publish sensitive material online unless you pay. Recently, companies and individuals have gotten better at storing backups, so the threat of deleting files isn't as serious. As a result, ransomware is changing. Remember, the hacker's goal is not to have your files. They don't really want them. Their goal is the payment. By threatening to publish certain types of information online, they intimidate the target into paying the ransom. Usually, Doxware is used against companies, especially those that deal with credit cards or financial information. So we know ransomware is a threat, but we need to know how to defend ourselves against it. The best way to defeat a ransomware attack, as with other malware, is to keep it from happening in the first place. Be wary of phishing attacks and suspicious emails. Make sure not to download files from a sketchy website. These tips might seem basic, but the truth is that most ransomware attacks come through these sources. Always keep backups of all your data and systems. The threat of losing all your files is very real, even if you pay the ransom. Other good safety measures include restricting user permissions, setting up a good firewall, running regular pen tests and malware scans, and keeping systems updated. Really, just make sure to have good cyber safety hygiene. We'll be posting a video soon about systems hardening and best practices. Sometimes, though, errors happen. People get hacked. Everyone should have a plan for what happens then, just in case. The first thing to do is to isolate the infected computer. If done quickly, the attacker can't get to the rest of the network as easily. If the computer is not taken off the network, the whole company and every computer connected to it could potentially be infected too. Change all the passwords on anything that could have been attacked, and change them again when the threat has been neutralized. Theoretically, it's preferable to refuse to pay the ransom. In practice, though, when there is sensitive or life-threatening data at risk, or the cost of recovery is higher than the ransom, many cities and companies choose to pay. After conducting a forensic analysis of the system, the company must make their decision, taking into account the sensitivity of the data and cost of recovery. If the company does decide to pay the ransom, negotiations should be conducted responsibly. Ask for proof of a decryptor by requesting that the hackers send you one decrypted file. Try to negotiate a deal or discount. Always contact a law enforcement agency or ransomware specialist. Ransomware has been around for a long time, since 1989. The first ransomware was called PC Cyborg, or the AIDS Trojan. The story goes that a man named Joseph L. Pott sent 20,000 diskettes with infected software to the World Health Organization's International AIDS Conference. The diskettes were labeled with AIDS information, introductory diskettes. After it had been installed and the computer had rebooted 90 times, the system was locked and a $189 payment was required by mail. Since then, ransomware has become more popular, widespread, and dangerous. 2017 saw the infamous WannaCry attack and the first $1 million ransomware payment. In the past 2 years, the cities of Pensacola, Albany, Baltimore, Atlanta, and more have been attacked. 2019 saw the rise of Doxware, a sign of an evolving threat landscape. Ransomware has changed a lot since PC Cyborg, and it will continue to change. That's the nature of cybersecurity. By looking at past history, we can predict how ransomware and other threats will change as time passes. One major change is that threat actors are moving away from targeting individuals, who tend to have a lower paying ability and less compelling reasons to keep a computer versus buying a new one. Instead, hackers are targeting companies, focusing on richer ones that can afford the payouts. They also go after groups with time-sensitive data. Unfortunately, hackers are increasingly targeting hospitals and medical centers, who need all systems operational to save lives. During the coronavirus pandemic, this trend is particularly noticeable. Hackers also know that companies are more likely to pay when a bad publicity event, like a data leak, is a clear danger to the victim. For this reason, Doxware is growing in popularity. Even if backups do exist, the hackers might still get payment to keep them from releasing the data. Although ransomware used to be a behind-the-scenes, relatively unpopular type of malware, especially in the early 2000s, it has become a formidable, even common threat. We can expect ransomware occurrences to increase more as hackers adapt to current cybersecurity tactics, so we need to recognize their efforts and stop them. We hope that by educating everyone about topics like ransomware, cyber safety will become a more present concern. Make sure to comment questions you have about ransomware or cybersecurity down below and subscribe to our channel. This is Catherine from the NeoCyber Institute. Thanks for watching.